Hi everyone, it's me, Beaticali Sunflower. So I thought I'd hop on today and do an unboxing and first impression of a Kickstarter deck that I received. So the deck is called the Pixies Marseillie Tarot, a tarot deck inspired by the art of Pamela Colman-Smith. And then it also came with this really nice hardback, which has, let's see how many pages in it, 178 pages, but it's a really nice kind of hardback. I must admit though, this deck came really nicely packed. It came in this envelope, which is quite large, and then it came in this kind of concoction that was part of this kind of concoction, which is really good because sometimes you get decks and they come damaged because the creator hasn't boxed it properly, but for this one it was really boxed lovely. So let's take off the packaging. Pixies Marseillie Tarot was born from a single artistic question. What might a Tarot de Marseille look like through the version of Pamela Pixie Colman-Smith? Guided by this inquiry, tarot artist Alexandro R. Rosanne, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, has created a deck that honours the structure of the Tarot de Marseille while embracing Pixie's graphic sensibility and visual language. The deck invites an open and intuitive way of reading, offering a bridge for readers familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition to explore the Tarot de Marseille without abandoning Pixie's visual narrative. This edition contains 85 cards, including 7 additional cards designed to expand the traditional framework and open new spaces for exploration and meaning. Okay, so let's have a look. At the side of the box, it's just got Pixies Marseillie Tarot, and I like how the writing is raised. That's like the lily print. Let's open it up. So it's a magnetic opening. Inside the box you've got the Two of Cups, and it's got here Pamela Colman-Smith's signature appears in this deck as a symbolic homage to her artistic legacy. It is not intended to indicate authorship or impersonation. So that's the signature there. So before I have a look at the cards, I want to have a look at the guidebook first. It's a really nice hardback. I think the artist is called Chris Onero. It was published in 2026. And it's the first edition. It's a really good quality book, I think, for a Kickstarter. It's got a beautiful index. It talks about the parts, so it gives you like an introduction, part before the cards with different headings. That's part 1, sorry. Part 2 is the Major Arcana, and it lists all of the Major Arcana cards. Part 3 is the Minor Arcana cards, and it's broken into suits. So you've got the Wands, the Cups, the Swords, and the Queens, which is exactly the same order as what I would do them in. And then you've got like a final word and a bibliography. And then it's got like an introduction that spans over 2 pages. The print as well is quite comfortable, because sometimes I find that a lot of creators cram in print and it actually hurts the eyes Well, it hurts my eyes anyway. I love, you know, that he's included Tarot de Marseille cards. It's just a good reader. Let's have a look at the layout, I should say. So if I look at a Major Arcana card, let's take Juno, which is the High Priestess. It gives you quite a lot of information there. It gives you keywords, basic meaning. So I'm not sure if this is the High Priestess, sorry. I need to read it properly. Sorry about that. But it's a nice little guidebook. Lovely paper. You can see all the hand stitching there. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's also got a bibliography that cites other books, which I will be looking at. It's got a Pixie stage spread, which is a 5-card spread. The final words. Gorgeous. I wasn't expecting to get such a thick book with a Kickstarter deck, so that pleasantly surprised me. Now let's have a look at the cards. So the cards have got lovely, can you see like a grey kind of silver gilding? Beautiful. I love the backs of the cards, as you can see there. Now let's compare it to a regular RWS deck. So I always use my Urbana Waite, just the kind of deck that I kind of use as a compass. And it's exactly the same size as a regular RWS deck. This is going to be a flip through and not a review, because I like to work with a deck before I give my honest review. Sometimes you might do a flip through of a deck and you might have an impression, and when you actually work with a deck you get a different feel for the deck altogether. So let's have a look at these cards. So you've got the Fool. You know, I like the robe, I like the rucksack and the dog following behind him. You've got the Magician, and these cards kind of look like they're kind of like Marseille inspired. It's got all these tools on the table. The Poppess, which should be the High Priestess in the RWS deck, and then you've got a second or a spare card too, which is Juno. I don't know much about Juno, unfortunately, but I like to read about it. Then you've got the Empress. I like the endogenous sort of look there. The Emperor. Then you've got the Hierophant, which is named the Pope. You've got a second Hierophant card called Jupiter. The Lovers. The Chariot. Justice. The Hermit. Wheel of Fortune. Strength. It's gorgeous. The Hanged Man. Death. Temperance. Again, you've got another Temperance card. So there's two Temperance cards. The Devil. And then another Devil card. I think I prefer this card. Then you've got the House of God, which would be the Tower card. You've got another Tower card, which is called Lightning. the star. And you've got another star card. I do like this card as well, actually. And then you've got the moon. Another moon card. I think I prefer the first one. The sun. Judgment. And the world. So moving on to the suit of wands. You've got the Ace of Wands, which looks kind of very Marseille-like. Okay, you've got the Marseille look, and you've got like a scene at the back. So Two of Wands. Three of Wands. Four of Wands. Five. This is very kind of teamwork, isn't it? Because they're working together. It looks like, you know, rather than conflict. The Six of Wands. See the horse there in the background. Seven of Wands. This person's standing their ground, and his face is kind of being covered by the wands. Eight of Wands. I can't really see the fast movement in these wands. Nine of Wands. This person looks exhausted. It's like they're fused together. And then you get the Ten of Wands. So the archetype is actually carrying all of the Marseille wand sticks. So you've got the Page. The Knight, the Queen. Oh, beautiful. This is one of the cards that I look out for because it's my significator card, the Queen of Wands. Love her sunflower and black cat. And King of Wands. So moving on to the suit of cups, you've got the Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups. That's interesting. It's got like Pixies Marseille tarot. And if you remember, when I showed you the box in the beginning, the Two of Cups was inside the box. Let me just show you. So I'm wondering why they've got the Pixies Marseille tarot on the Two of Cups. Then you've got the Three of Cups. The Four of Cups. Five of Cups. The ones that are on the floor got blood in, you know. Six of Cups, childhood memories, or oh, this looks like a Waite Smith, doesn't it? Version is Seven of Cups, more than Marseille, I should say. Eight of Cups. Walking away from that emotional situation. Nine of Cups. Comfortably hiding in between the cups. And then the Ten of Cups. Happy families. So you've got the Page, who looks quite mature for a page in my opinion. Just got fish out of water there. The Knight. To me, the Page looks older than the Knight. The Queen and the King. So moving on to the Suit of Swords, which is my favourite suit. You've got the Two of Swords. And I like how the swords are like in Marseille style, but you can see the Waite Smith kind of person with the blindfolds and stuff. Oh, look at that sharp piece in the Three of Swords. But again, it's following the Marseille kind of artwork. Four of Swords. So the person's laying down there. That's the... or resting. Five of Swords. So it really is a fusion, isn't it, of Marseille and the Rider-Waite Smith system. Six of Swords, moving away to closer waters. Seven. Eight of Swords. So this person's bound and then also bound within the Eight of Swords. Beautiful. The Nightmare card. Nine of Swords. And that's behind the Marseille kind of swords. And then the Ten of Swords. So moving on to the court cards, you've got the Page. The Knight. I must admit, these pages are looking quite old in this deck. I don't know if it's a me thing, but I like my pages to look a bit younger. The Queen is very androgynous. In fact, a lot of the cards are androgynous or just male. You know, they're not very feminine looking archetypes, which is good, I guess, in a way. And the King of Swords. So moving on to the final suit, which is the Pentacles. You've got the Ace of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. This looks very kind of like RWS to me. You've got the Four of Pentacles with the person holding there. Five of Pentacles. You can see like the figures here that you see in the RWS. Six of Pentacles. Generosity card. Seven of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, working hard there, that is craft. Nine of Pentacles, the independent woman. And the Ten of Pentacles. So you've got the Page. The Knight, the Queen of Pentacles, again very androgynous looking, and the King of Pentacles. What a beautiful, beautiful deck. So if I was to ever pair this deck, it would probably be with this mass market deck that I got from Amazon, and it's called Le Tarot de Marseille Waite, and again this is another Rider-Waite Smith stroke Marseille hybrid. It comes in a lovely bag inside the box. So just by side comparison, the Pixies Marseille Tarot, it looks like it's thicker because it's slightly higher. I don't know if the camera's showing that justice. Also, it's very different artwork. I'd say that the Pixies Marseille is more Marseille looking. These are the backs as well. Magician. This has got different kind of writing on there. I think it's Italian, but don't quote me. I'm crap at languages. Just very different kind of artwork, but the same sort of premise, you know, as in a hybrid Marseille and RWS deck. But as I said, in the Pixies Marseille Tarot, a lot of the archetypes are endogenous. You know, they could be either male or female. But in the Le Tarot de Marseille, you know, I mean, this is male. But the females do look like they're feminine. They don't look androgynous. So let's see what the pips look like. That would be nice to see in both decks to compare. Okay, so I just wanted to show you some of the Marseille kind of like inspired cards. Very different, you know, one's called Wands, which is in line with the RWS, and then one is called As das Buttons. I think the Pixies Marseille Tarot is more of a hybrid, if I'm honest, than the Le Tarot de Marseille deck. They're very different, even though they're supposed to be representing the same hybrid. I think this deck here is more Rider-Waite inspired, if I'm honest. So I'm not sure if I would work with them together, because I can't really see the Marseille in the pips, if I'm honest, with the Tarot de Marseille. It's just a Rider-Waite Smith. Okay, let's have a look at some other. Okay, so let's go to the Two of Cups and look at the cups to see what the cups look like. Look very different. That's very Marseille. This is very Rider-Waite Smith. Ooh, very different artwork. Interesting. So really, the Le Tarot de Marseille, it looks like that the pips in this are more Rider-Waite inspired, and maybe the majors might have a nudge of Marseille to it, maybe, possibly. But with the Pixies Tarot de Marseille, a fusion of both. So that's interesting. Okay. So let's give these cards a shuffle. Oh God, I'm such a butterfingers. Oh dear. These cards click quite nice. Click, click, click. As everyone knows, I'm an overhand shuffler. They're thick, but I think they could possibly be riffle shuffled as well. This deck is also kind of like semi-glossy. You know, they're not matte, but they're very nice quality. So what are my first impressions of this deck? So I bought this deck because I'm trying to embrace Marseille. I like the artistry of the Marseille deck, but as I always say, I find the pips very challenging. But because this deck has got like the RWS imagery behind it, this deck I could probably read without feeling challenged, and that's the main reason why I bought this deck, because I wanted to be able to pick up a Marseille looking deck or a Marseille inspired deck and be able to read it. I like the guidebook. It's very well written. I'm going to try and read it from cover to cover. It is very, very, very well made. It's a nice hardback. You can see that there's you know, a lot of attention to detail and all that sort of stuff. I haven't got much more to say, really. You know, it follows both patterns, or not both patterns. It follows, you know, both the Rider-Waite and the RWS deck. It's got like a kind of like aged kind of feel. Can you see? It kind of looks like it's aged, and all around here. So I like that about it. And even the back, you can see bits of age into it. And that's about it. I haven't got much more to say, but you know, I will use it, and then maybe I might come back and do a review. But to review a deck, it takes quite a long time, because I have to work with a deck for at least 2 weeks. You know, work with it every day and combine it with other decks, and I have to do an interview spread if I'm working with a deck and all this sort of stuff if it's new. So it's quite a long process, and it's difficult to do a review when you first open up a deck, because you haven't got a clue, you know. Like I'm saying now that this deck is easy to read because it's got like the Rider-Waite Smith kind of archetypes behind the Marseille archetypes, but then I might try and work with this deck and find it very difficult to read. You know, first impressions are very difficult, because, or you might find a deck and you hate the artwork, but actually when you read with it, you find that it's really intuitive to read with. So, you know, it's quite difficult. So as I said earlier, this was a Kickstarter deck, so I'm not sure if it is available for sale, but if I do find a link where one can purchase it, or even I might even just link the Kickstarter page, I will do that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.